The story begins with a boy named Kangmaru, who was in a hospital, watching TV, where he saw a girl reporting the news. That girl was his girlfriend, Yuna. Maru was about to become a doctor, but was currently doing his internship. He came from a poor background, struggled a lot in life, and was still struggling. Through hard work, he had reached that stage and was finally close to becoming a doctor. After finishing his shift and returning home, he saw something troubling. He found his sister, Choco, lying on the ground. Maru quickly rushed to her and checked her body. He realized that his sister had a very high fever, and her condition was extremely serious. He was about to take her to the hospital when he received a call from Yuna. She was terrified and crying, saying something like, "Someone might be dead," and begged him to come and save her. Meru asked for her location, and she told him where she was. As he prepared to leave, his sick sister pleaded with him not to leave her alone. Meru told her that he would meet Yuna quickly and return soon to take her to the hospital. Then he reached the hotel room where Yuna was, and she had killed a man. Maru was shocked and confused, not knowing what to do. He told Yuna that she should surrender to the police because she acted in self-defense and never intended to commit a crime, and if she explained everything, she wouldn't be punished, but Yuna refused to do that. She said that she had suffered a lot since childhood and only now managed to become a reporter. Everything in her life was finally going well, and if she turned herself in, she would lose everything. Her life would go back to being full of daily struggle. She said it would be better to die, and even tried to harm herself. Maru stopped her. Since he loved her deeply and couldn't see her in pain, he took the blame on himself. He gave up his dream of becoming a doctor. Because he took the blame, Maru was sentenced to 5 years in prison. 6 years later, Maru was living in Japan. He has turned into a playboy who dates women for money. Another girl named Suzy is the director of a company called Taisan. She had also come to Japan on business and was managing everything quite well. One day, while out for a walk, she suddenly experienced severe chest pain. At that moment, Yuna arrived there. Yuna asked Suzy if she was okay, to which Suzy replied that she was fine and didn't need concern. Yuna was actually Suzy's stepmother and also had a 4-year-old son. Suzy didn't like Yuna at all because she married someone much older than herself just to improve her life, and the person was Suzy's father. Maru had come to Japan with his friend Sam. Now that their work was over, he told him it was time to go back home. They were on a flight to Korea when Maru went to the washroom. As he came out, a girl collapsed right in front of him. It was Suzy, whose health had deteriorated badly. A flight attendant rushed to help, and Maru walked away. But Suzy's condition worsened and there was no doctor on board, which caused panic among the crew. Someone on the flight commented that Suzy might die, which disturbed Maru. He came back to check on her and found her condition extremely critical. He asked who her guardian was, and just then, Yuna arrived. They both were shocked to see each other. Maru became even more stunned when he realized Yuna was Suzy's stepmother and had a 4-year-old son. He told the flight attendants that he was not a doctor but had once attended medical school, although he left in the final semester. He said if they had a problem with that, he wouldn't treat her. The attendants replied that they had no issue and requested him to help. Maru examined Suzy and discovered that her lungs were filled with fluid. He began extracting the fluid with a syringe, which caused some blood to come from her chest. Yuna feared Maru might be doing this out of anger and could hurt Suzy, so she told him to stop. She said he wasn't a doctor and could kill her. But Maru didn't stop and removed a large amount of fluid, which improved Suzy's condition slightly. After the plane landed, Suzy was rushed to the hospital. On the way home, Maru and Sam were together, and it was revealed that Sam once told Maru that Yuna had married an old man. Meru never believed it, but now, after seeing everything, he was in disbelief. He had ruined his life for Yuna, but she didn't even wait for him and went ahead to marry someone else, an elderly man. After Maru had left his sick sister, Sam was the one who took her to the hospital and looked after her while Maru was in prison. Maru became lost in thought, remembering the past. Yuna used to live in his neighborhood. Her brother was abusive, and one day, to escape him, she ran and hid at Maru's house. Maru never told anyone she was hiding there. From that day onward, the two became close friends. They studied together and eventually fell in love. Thinking of all this, Maru became very emotional. The next day, Suzy's assistant, Han, visited her in the hospital. Suzy was working and told him she had heard that the person who gave her emergency treatment on the plane wasn't even a doctor. Han confirmed that he also heard the same. Suzy asked how her life could be entrusted to someone who wasn't a doctor and wondered what would have happened if she had died because of him. Han responded that she didn't die. In fact, she was alive because of him. Suzy then said she had also heard that Yuna and that crazy doctor knew each other. She asked if Han knew anything about it. Han said he didn't. Just then, Suzy received a call and learned that Yuna had withdrawn a huge sum of money from the bank. She instructed the caller to follow Yuna and find out what she was planning to do with all that money. Actually, Yuna went to Maru's house, but Maru was not there. Sam was there, and since he already knew Yuna, he asked her why she had come. From there, the scene shifted, and Maru was seen taking Choco to the hospital for a checkup. The doctor told Maru that Choco's health condition was much better, and that if she took good care of herself, she could stay healthy for a long time. While returning home with Choco, she said she was still very sick and accused the doctor of lying. Maru replied that he could clearly see she was very sick. Choco then said she wanted to go clubbing and drink a lot. Maru told her that she wouldn't be able to do any of that for a month. That made Choco angry, and she said that meant she could neither go out, nor drink, nor attend school, and she questioned whether this was how people lived. She added that she should have died that day, and if they had been a little late, she would have died. Maru asked her why she was saying such things. Choco responded that he shouldn't try to act like a good person after so many years, and reminded him that he was so obsessed with Yuna that he had left Choco despite her being seriously ill. She said she was sick because of him, and if she died, it would be his fault. After hearing all of that, Maru felt deeply affected and became very sad. Choco also realized she had gone too far and apologized for getting so angry. Meanwhile, Yuna and Sam were talking to each other. Sam said that whenever Choco fell ill, her treatment cost a lot of money. Maru's mother had died due to a heart attack and left behind a lot of debt. When their brilliant son suddenly became a criminal, no parents could have recovered from that. Maru had even tried to sell his organs, but even that could not clear the debt. In Korea, it was very difficult to live a normal life if one had committed a crime. If Choco had not been there, Maru might have already died. He was living only for his sister and enduring great difficulties in his life. Sam said he couldn't understand why God was doing this to Maru and questioned what mistake Maru had made. Yuna asked why they hadn't left the place. Was it because of money? Sam answered that it wasn't because of money, but because of her. Maru never left that place because of her. Sam said he had told Maru many times that Yuna had moved on in life, but Maru didn't listen and waited for her every single day. After some time, Maru returned home, but Yuna had already left. Sam told him that Yuna had come a while ago and gave Maru an envelope, saying it was to repay the debt he believed she owed him. The envelope had a lot of money in it. Sam added that she had said Maru should use the money to shift to a better place and live a good life, and that he should stop thinking about her because she wasn't coming back. Later, when Yuna returned home, Suzy was waiting outside. Suzy told Yuna that she had heard the person who gave her emergency treatment on the plane wasn't a doctor, and also knew that Yuna had gone to meet that person and had given him a lot of money. She asked why. Yuna replied that she gave him the money because he had provided emergency treatment on the plane, and that was the reason Suzy was still alive. Suzy said she didn't believe that, and instead believed Yuna had planned it with the crazy doctor to do something to her on the plane and had paid him for it. Suzy misunderstood Yuna, and Yuna didn't want Suzy to know why she gave the money to Maru, so Yuna said that she was blackmailed. When Suzy was in America 7 years ago and had gotten involved in a drug scandal, that man knew about it and had threatened to leak everything to the press. Yuna reminded Suzy that if such a thing came out, her image would be ruined and she would lose everything, including her director's position. That's why Yuna said she had no choice but to do it, to protect Suzy. After saying that, Yuna left. When Suzy went to her room, a flashback was shown. A boy, who was Suzy's boyfriend, was asking her for help. He was about to be caught in a drug scandal and was pleading for help. In trying to save him, Suzy herself got trapped in the scandal. The next day, Maru went to Yuna's house but didn't go inside. He returned the money by throwing the envelope near her gate. Then Choco called him, sounding scared. She told him that police were at their house looking for him. When Maru returned home, the officers told him he was being arrested for blackmailing Suzy. But in reality, it was Yuna who had done all this. She had used Han to file a complaint against Maru. As the police were taking Maru away, Choco followed them in the rain, soaked and crying. Maru came to her and said that he hadn't done anything and would return soon, so she should go inside. But Choco refused, which made Maru angry. He told her that the doctor had said she shouldn't get wet in the rain and insisted she go inside. He warned her that if she didn't go in, he would get very angry. Choco asked who even cared about her and said that even if she died, it wouldn't matter. Maru got even angrier and shouted that fine, she could go die, crazy girl, and then walked away. Later, Yuna arrived at the police station for cross-examination. Maru couldn't believe that she had set this up and accused him of blackmail. Even there, Yuna didn't reveal the truth and told the police that Maru was blackmailing her using some information that could harm the company's reputation. Hearing all this, Maru became extremely angry at himself for ruining his life to protect Yuna. He wondered how she could do something so low and started hating her. When Yuna returned home, a servant gave her the envelope that Maru had returned. Seeing the money, she was shocked that Maru had sent it back. Then, when Yuna brought tea for Suzy, he said that Han had told her that Maru would be released soon since the police didn't have strong evidence against him, but she couldn't understand where the money that Yuna gave him had gone. Even then, Yuna didn't tell the truth and lied again, saying she was the one who hired that man to kill Suzy and gave him the money for it, but since he couldn't complete the job, he returned the money. She warned Suzy to listen carefully and declared that from now on she wouldn't attack from behind but directly. She said she would take everything Suzy had and would throw her out of this house just like her mother was thrown out. Suzy replied that at least Yuna finally told the truth and accepted her challenge. The next day Maru was released, and when he came home, he saw that Choco was not there, which made him extremely anxious. Then he found out from a neighbor that the previous day Choco was running around in the rain the entire time and became very sick, so she was in the hospital. Maru went to the hospital and, after seeing her condition, began blaming himself and getting angry for speaking harshly to her the day before. He kept feeling that Choco always got sick because of him, and this made him feel guilty. He also decided to take revenge on Yuna for everything she did to him. The next day, when Suzy reached the office, she learned that the workers had gone on strike. Because of everything happening around her, she became extremely worried about how she would fix it all. Her mood turned very sour, so she went out for bike riding, something she truly enjoyed. While she was riding, Maru suddenly appeared with his own bike, and the two began racing each other. In the middle of the race, Suzy fell off her bike and ended up hanging on the edge of a cliff. Maru rushed and saved her quickly. Suzy's bike fell into the ravine, and on that bike was a doll, her last keepsake from her mother. She wanted to go and get it, but Maru did not let her. Instead, he tied a rope around himself and went down to fetch the doll. He found the doll, but the rope broke, and Maru fell into the valley. When he regained consciousness, he found himself in the hospital, badly injured but alive. Suzy was there too. Maru asked her whether they had met before or knew each other, and if not, why she was getting angry instead of thanking him. Suzy shouted that if something had happened to him, people would have blamed her. Maru asked whether her parents taught her to say thank you in such moments, but she was doing the opposite. He said if she felt grateful, she could express it, or if she felt sorry, she could express that too. He said that though his parents were not educated, they taught him everything, and anyway, she did not ask him to do anything. He chose to do it himself, so there was no point talking about it. He also said that if she thought he would demand something in return, she need not worry because he would not. Then he told her if she had anything more to say, she could leave, because he needed to rest. Suzy kept overthinking why Maru risked his life for her and found herself constantly thinking about him. At work, she found the same doll her mother had given her placed on her desk. Her secretary came and informed her that Maru gave it when she visited him in the hospital and that he refused the gift Suzy had sent. Suzy was very impressed and went to the hospital to meet him, but he was already discharged. On the way home, Maru received a message from Choco. She wrote that she was visiting their mother and would now stay there, so he did not need to worry or do anything bad to pay her hospital bills. She thanked him for taking care of her all these years and told him to take care of himself. Maru grew very anxious after reading that. He tried calling Choco, but her phone did not connect. He got ready at home and was just about to leave to bring her back when he saw Suzy waiting outside. Suzy told him that it wasn't hard to find his address and that she came because she wanted to know if he was doing okay. Maru asked whether she was interested in him, which shocked her. He asked whether she was that easy to impress and said that maybe good-looking guys were her type. Suzy asked whether he had lost his mind. Maru warned her again that it was not her fault. He did everything of his own will, and that was why they didn't need to meet or talk again. He reminded her that he had already told her this before. Suzy replied that it might be what he thought. But she didn't feel the same way. She said he had saved her life and she owed him and wanted to repay that. Maru told her that was fine and that he was releasing her from that debt. He got in his car, but Susie also got in. When he asked her to leave, she refused and said her conversation was not over. Maru told her he was in a hurry and had to go to a different city. Susie agreed to go along and talk on the way. So he took her along to Chaco. They talked a lot on the way, and Susie kept looking at him the whole time. The day passed, and in the evening they reached the place where they saw Chaco's mother being beaten by her husband. Maru stepped in to protect her. It was revealed that Maru and Choco had the same father, but different mothers. Maru's mother passed away, and Choco's mother had left her with Maru, so he had raised her. When Susie learned all this and saw the hardships Maru had gone through and how much he had done for his sister, she felt deeply moved and sad. On the way back, Chaco asked who Susie was and whether she was Maru's girlfriend. Maru replied, no, she was just someone he knew. When they returned, Maru first dropped Susie at her house. Yuna, who was standing outside, saw them together and was shocked. Susie thanked him for dropping her home. As he was about to leave, she said they should meet again. She said she had become curious about him and wanted to know more. She said they should meet tomorrow and asked what he thought about this. Maru smiled evilly at this. Susie asked whether they could meet again, and Maru replied that yes, they could. Yuna became very scared seeing this and asked Susie whether she even knew the man who dropped her off. She asked how they met. Susie replied by asking when Yuna started caring about her personal life. Yuna asked how much Susie actually knew about that man, what he did, how he lived, and said she was sure Susie knew nothing. Yuna said that man probably already knew who Susie was and approached her on purpose to take advantage of her. Susie said whatever the case may be, it didn't matter to her and walked away. Later, when Susie and Yuna arrived at the office, they saw that Maru had come to meet Susie. Susie expressed that she was happy he came and asked whether he was waiting for her. Maru replied that it was not much, just around 2 hours. At that moment, Susie's father arrived and, upon seeing Maru, asked who he was. Susie introduced him, saying that his name was Maru and that the two of them were seeing each other. Susie's father invited Maru to join them for lunch, and Maru agreed. They all began eating together. Her father remarked that Maru was the first person Susie ever introduced to him as her boyfriend. He asked what Maru's parents did. Maru responded that his parents were no longer in the world. They passed away. His father used to run a medicine shop and his mother passed away at the time of his birth. Susie's father expressed his condolences and remarked that life must have been very difficult for Maru after losing his parents. He asked how Maru continued his studies and what he was doing now. Maru told him that he attended medical college but left his studies midway and was currently working as a bartender in a bar. Hearing this, Susie's father was surprised and asked if Maru left his studies due to financial reasons. He then asked, if not money, what the reason was. Maru explained that he did not leave college on his own but was expelled. Susie's father asked why he was expelled, but Maru did not answer. So her father turned to Susie and asked whether she knew the reason for Maru's expulsion. Susie had no idea, so she was unable to respond. Her father understood that she did not know and questioned how she could introduce someone as her boyfriend without knowing anything about such an important matter. An argument broke out between Susie and her father, which caused him to leave without finishing his lunch. Susie followed him. Only Yuna and Maru were left behind. Yuna asked Maru why he was doing all this, what he wanted, and whether he was doing it to take revenge because she betrayed him. She told him that revenge would not benefit him and advised him to be smart and simply say how much money he needed to stop everything. Maru replied that money meant nothing to him and what he wanted was revenge. He told her she made his life hell and now was living comfortably, which she didn't deserve at all. That was why he intended to drag her back to where she belonged, because that was all she deserved. At that moment, it became clear that Maru intentionally approached Susie in order to ruin Yuna's life, and that he even risked his life to impress Susie. Later, when Maru stepped outside, he saw that Susie looked very upset. He went up to her and asked whether he did something wrong. Susie replied that he didn't do anything wrong. Maru told her that there was no need to say sorry, and whatever her father said didn't offend him at all. He asked what she wanted to do now and whether she wanted to stop everything there. Susie told him that even though they hadn't known each other for a long time, she'd spent a really good time with him. She extended her hand for a handshake. Maru asked whether it was a farewell handshake, but didn't shake her hand. He said that if she was dumping him, he would rather prefer a goodbye kiss than a handshake, though he didn't think that place was suitable for it. He told her that if any such place ever came to her mind, she should call him and they would have their farewell kiss and go their separate ways. Until then, he asked her to take care of herself and said hopefully they would meet again. Susie felt even more impressed after hearing all this. The next day, she went to the office and attended a meeting where people were discussing how they needed a lot of funding for a project, but they didn't have enough funds. So her father decided to sell his resort in Japan, which was not generating much profit. Susie didn't want that to happen because the resort was built by her mother and held many memories of her. She requested her father not to sell it, but he didn't listen to her and gave the task of handling the sale to Yuna. After several days, Susie called Maru. Maru asked whether she found the place where they could share the farewell kiss and asked what she was doing. Maru said that he was standing outside his house and talking to her on the phone. Susie said that she missed him a lot. Maru asked where she was and told her he would come to meet her. Susie told him that she was in Japan at the resort her mother had built. She used to visit there with her mother and had spent a lot of time with her. That place held a lot of memories. Now her father wanted to sell it, and she was there to save it. She admitted that it was difficult, but said she would give it her all. She told him she had a lot of work and asked him to take care of himself and said they would meet soon. Then she ended the call. Susie was deeply worried and kept thinking of ways to save the resort. Eventually, she fell asleep outside on the ground near the resort. The next morning, a man came and threw her into the lake to wake her up. That man was Maru. Now Maru was focused on taking revenge against Yuna, and for that, he needed Susie. That was why he flew to Japan just to impress her. Seeing Maru in Japan surprised Susie completely. They both went to a restaurant for breakfast, and Susie asked why he came. Maru said he came because he missed her. He told her to eat properly because she had to save the resort too. Then they both started working together. They began calculating ways to arrange the required funding. Maru handled the work very well. Seeing all this, Susie's feelings for Maru grew stronger. As Susie was about to leave for the location where the resort deal was to happen, Maru stopped her and came close to kiss her on the forehead. Susie's heart started beating faster. Maru told her that if she was going there, she must come back victorious and not even consider the idea of losing. Susie left, feeling extremely motivated after the forehead kiss. At the business meeting, Susie arrived and told Yuna that she found a way to arrange the funds without selling the resort. She managed everything efficiently and succeeded in saving the resort. She called Maru to tell him that she had won and protected the resort. Maru responded that it was great news and said they should meet after 3 hours. About 3 hours later, Susie got completely ready and went to the place where she and Maru were supposed to meet. As evening approached, Maru, who had been busy with some work, completely forgot about the meeting. He rushed to the resort but didn't find Susie there. Then he went to the spot where Susie was supposed to wait for him and saw that she was there, asleep while waiting. Maru was surprised that she had waited for so long. He gently woke her up and asked her if she had really been waiting all this time and what she would have done if he hadn't come. Susie replied that she would have kept waiting because she believed he would come. Hearing this, Maru kissed her. After that, since there was a festival going on in Japan, the two of them went together to enjoy it. They had a great time, but suddenly Maru disappeared. Susie became very scared and started looking for him everywhere. She became very anxious, but finally when she saw him, she ran and hugged him tightly. Maru wanted Susie to fall in love with him, and he succeeded. Susie started falling for him, and he became very happy about it. For the first time in her life, Susie started feeling truly happy because she had fallen in love with Maru. When Susie returned home, her father threw her out of the house because he wanted to sell the resort, and Susie had gone against his wishes. He became furious. With nowhere to go and no friends, Susie went to Maru's house and stood outside his gate. Just then, she received a call from Han asking her to meet him. When she did, Han told her that her father had said if she could resolve the factory strike, she would be allowed back. Susie went and met the union leaders and discussed how to end the strike. She even drank with them. While Maru was returning home, Susie called him, and from her voice he sensed she was drunk. Susie told him she wanted to ask something, and then asked what he had done to her because she couldn't stop thinking about him. She said he was always on her mind, in her heart, and that she was going crazy. At that moment, Maru noticed Susie was actually sitting on the roadside talking to him. Susie said she couldn't focus on work, kept thinking about him, and missed him a lot. Maru went to her and saw that she was very drunk, so he took her home and let her rest. In the morning, Susie woke up and saw Maru beside her. Maru also woke up. Susie asked how she had reached there, and Maru told her that he brought her. Susie then asked if she had really said that she was going crazy because she liked him so much. Maru said yes. She then asked what his reply was and begged him to tell her because she couldn't remember. Maru said he had told her she was unlucky to fall for someone like him, and if she wanted to run, then she should do it now because she would not get a second chance. Susie asked if that's really what he said and what her reply had been. Maru said she hadn't replied yet. Susie asked if she could reply now and then kissed him, which meant she didn't want to run away. Maru stepped out for a while, and when he returned, he saw the house was a mess and Sam was hurt. Choco told him that Yuna had come, messed up everything, and asked about him. Meanwhile, Susie had started changing. She had begun to stay very happy because of Maru. But then she found out that Maru and Yuna had known each other for 19 years and had even been in a relationship. She was shocked. She also discovered that the man who treated her on the plane during the emergency was Maru and that Yuna had given him a large sum of money. Han told Susie that Maru had approached her on purpose and must have had some motive. 6 years ago, Maru had killed someone and spent 5 years in jail, which led to his expulsion from college. Susie was shaken. Han said they could take legal action against Maru, but Susie refused. That night, Maru and Susie sat and drank together. Susie had a fever and Maru kept asking her not to drink, taking care of her. But Susie didn't listen. She didn't say directly that she had found out the truth, but simply said that they couldn't be together anymore. She broke up with him without giving a reason. Maru figured out that she must have come to know everything. Susie successfully resolved the factory strike issue and her father called her back. Meanwhile, Yuna wanted to destroy Maru and was ready to go to any lengths, so she sent some men to beat him up badly, and he was severely injured. A few days passed. Susie, who had once been very happy with Maru, now felt low and joyless. She couldn't stay away from him. She went to his house and knocked, but no one answered. Disappointed, she was about to leave when Maru opened the door. When she saw him all bruised and battered, she was devastated. She told him that the kiss they shared in Japan was her first kiss. She had fallen in love for the first time. Because of him, she had begun to enjoy life and felt truly happy. She said now she only wished to see him daily, to tell him that she loved him, to hear him say he loved her too, to have children with him and grow old with him. She asked if that was possible. Suze was crying, a lot. Maru was deeply moved by her words. He didn't say anything but hugged her tightly to comfort her and took her inside. Since Susie had gotten drenched in the rain, Maru gave her Choco's clothes to wear and changed himself. They were both hungry, so Maru went out to get food. When he returned, Susie was asleep. Maru made the bed and tucked her in. He kept looking at her for a long time because he had started falling for her too. While she slept, he kissed her. Maru sent Choco to hang out with Sam so she wouldn't see him in that state. He went to buy a dress for Susie and came back home. Just as he was about to enter, he got a call from Yuna. She said her brother was there, breaking everything and might kill her, and begged Maru to save her. Even though Maru had started falling for Susie, forgetting one's first love wasn't easy. He was troubled because he knew Yuna's brother had abused her before, so he left the dress he had bought for Susie outside the gate and went to Yuna. When Susie woke up and didn't find Maru at home, she came out and saw the dress and a note saying they would go on a trip. She became happy thinking that they would go on a trip that day. But then she got a message from Maru saying he had urgent work and would leave for it, and they would go the next day. Susie felt a bit upset. Then she got another message from an unknown number, telling her that Maru was going to meet Yuna. Susie saw that message and became deeply shocked. Maru went to see Yuna, who was quite injured, and much of the room around her was broken and damaged. He asked where her brother was, and Yuna informed him that he was gone. Maru went into the house to get the first aid box so he could dress her wounds. Just then, Yuna's brother called Maru and asked for help, as the police had arrested him. Maru understood from this that Yuna was doing all of this intentionally and acting. In reality, Yuna had done it to lure Susie there, so that when she saw Yuna and Maru together, she would think they were still in love. The purpose was to completely break Susie's heart, so she would leave Maru, and it would also shatter his dream of taking revenge on Yuna. And that was exactly what happened. Susie arrived there and overheard Yuna speaking sweetly to Maru. Yuna was recalling how much he used to love her, how crazy he used to be for her, how he would come to her the moment she called him, and how she didn't believe anything had changed. She said that he still loved her just as much and that he had not forgotten her. Hearing all this made Suzy feel that Maru still loved Yuna, and her heart broke. She quietly turned to leave. Meanwhile, Maru told Yuna that he had understood everything, that she was pretending and putting on an act, and he asked her to stop talking nonsense. He said he no longer wanted revenge on her and that whatever she was doing or planning did not matter to him anymore, because he no longer felt anything for her, not even a little. He said he hated her very much and then walked out. Maru felt a deep sense of regret, thinking that he had dragged Suzy into his personal war. When Maru reached home, Suzy was not there. He found a photograph of the place where Suzy had wanted to go on a trip. He immediately rushed to that location and found Suzy there. Maru went to her and asked why she had come alone. Suzy replied that she needed a bit of freshness and thanked him for the dress. She noted that this was not his first time there, right? Maru told her it actually was his first time, that he had planned to come with someone else, but they never came. When Suzy asked who that person was, Maru told her it was Yuna, that he used to love her. Maru asked when she had found out about Yuna and him and why she hadn't told him. Suzy explained that she didn't want to lose him. Even after overhearing Yuna and Maru talking, she was not ready to let him go and wanted to stay with him. But Maru did not want that. Because of him, Suzy was already deeply hurt, and he didn't want her to suffer more. So he told her that he never loved her, that everything that happened between them was just a show, part of a plan. He said he still loved Yuna deeply and that she should get rid of the idea that he loved her. He said many more things that hurt Suzy and broke her heart. She left for home in a devastated state. Then she received a message from Han saying that her father had passed away. She rushed there and became very sad. Suzy grew angry at Maru because she had become so obsessed with loving him that she forgot to even think about her father. She had not spent any time with him in his final days. Thinking about all of this made her extremely angry. She turned her car and went back to Maru. After driving a bit, she saw Maru returning too. She became so angry that she started speeding her car and crashed it into Maru's, resulting in an accident. The story moved ahead 11 months. Suzy had been missing since the accident. Since then, Yuna had become the temporary director of the company and was running it. Maru used to con girls for money, but now he was scamming everyone. Since the accident, Maru had completely changed. He no longer cared whether the people he scammed were poor or troubled. He only cared about money. Choco and Sam didn't like this version of him at all, but they kept hoping that one day Maru would stop this behavior. Maru missed Suzy a lot and blamed himself for her disappearance, knowing she had suffered because of him. He hoped that she was safe and would return one day. A few days passed, and Suzy's secretary was seen bringing Suzy to Maru's house. As they arrived, the secretary remembered she had forgotten her purse in the car, so she asked Suzy to wait and went back to get it. But Suzy did not stay. She walked a little further and saw children writing on a wall. She joined them and started writing too. At that moment, Maru passed by and saw her. He was shocked to see her, and she too was stunned. She asked if he knew her and confirmed whether he was Maru. Then she took out a camera from her bag, which contained photos of her and Maru from Japan. She showed the photos to Maru and explained that she had lost her memory due to a car accident. She had even needed to relearn her own name, Suzy. All she had was that camera, and in the photos was Maru. The woman taking care of her had told her his name, and that's why she had come. She said she now understood who he was and asked if they had loved each other deeply. Hearing all this left Maru completely speechless. Just then, Suzy's secretary arrived. Maru brought both of them to his home. The secretary explained that Suzy had not only lost her memory, but also her knowledge and skills. She now struggled with reading and writing. Though she looked the same, she was no longer like before. So her secretary was hiding her from people. If others, or especially Yuna, learned about her condition, it would be impossible for her to return to the company. Suzy had found the camera with Maru's picture in it, and she wanted to meet him. The doctor had said that regular interaction with Maru could help her memory recover faster, so the secretary had brought her to him, hoping that with his help, Suzy would recover and return to the company. Maru asked why it had to be him. The secretary replied that he was the only one Suzy had loved and trusted. Maru said that it only seemed that way to her. Then he went to Suzy and told her she had come to the wrong person. He said there was nothing between them and asked who told her they loved each other. Just because they took photos together didn't mean they were lovers. He told her he couldn't help her. Suzy asked if he felt embarrassed because of her, because she couldn't remember anything, because she wasn't like she used to be. She asked if that was why he wanted to distance himself. Then she requested him to wait a little, promising that she would try her best to remember everything and that once she did, everything would go back to how it used to be. Maru explained that there was nothing between them. They only knew each other. Suzy insisted that it wasn't true. Her heart knew that they had loved each other. But Maru didn't listen to her and walked away. Maru never wanted to say all that because he still loved Suzy. However, he didn't want her to return to his life and create chaos again. That was why he said such things, to make her hate him and forget him. Suzy was deeply hurt by Maru's words and started hitting her head, wondering why she couldn't remember anything. As Suzy was leaving from there, Yuna's brother spotted her and realized that she was Suzy, who had been missing for 11 months. He started following her and found out where she was staying. For proof, he also secretly recorded her. Later, while Suzy was studying, Han came to meet her. He already knew about Suzy's condition and it was his decision to keep her hidden. Meanwhile, Maru was visiting the doctor. Due to his accident, parts of his brain were damaged and he still wasn't fully recovered. In fact, his condition was getting worse. If he didn't undergo surgery, he would die, but the chances of a successful surgery were very low. Because of that, Maru wasn't ready for surgery yet. When he came home that evening, he found a note stuck to his gate, left by Suzy. The note had Suzy's number, and she had written that he should call her and she would wait. The next day, Yuna's brother went to meet the company's manager since Yuna wasn't answering his calls. He informed the manager that Suzy was alive and told him where she was. As proof, he showed the recorded video. He told the manager that he would take Suzy far away from the company and get rid of her so that she could never return. For that, he demanded a large amount of money. The manager, being on Yuna's side and wanting her to take charge of the company, agreed to the deal. Then Yuna's brother started keeping an eye on Suzy's house. When Suzy's secretary stepped out, he went and knocked on the door. Suzy opened the door, and he told her that he was Maru's older brother, and Maru wanted to talk to her, so he had sent him to bring her. Suzy became very happy, went inside to get ready, and left with him. She was delighted that Maru had called her to meet him. A little while later, Suzy's secretary arrived at Maru's home and asked if Suzy had come there, saying she had come to take her back because Suzy had told her she was going to visit Maru. Maru said she didn't come there. Then Suzy's secretary got scared and handed him a note that Suzy had left at home. She had written that Maru wanted to meet her and had sent someone to bring her, so they shouldn't worry, and she would return soon. Seeing the note, both of them became extremely worried, wondering who had taken her if she hadn't come to Maru's house. Suzy's secretary then said they could track her location because her phone's GPS was active. Maru tracked Suzy's GPS and found out where she was and rushed to reach her. Seeing Maru there, Yuna's brother ran away. Maru asked Suzy how she could go with someone she didn't even know. Was she out of her mind? Suzy replied that the man had told her Maru had sent him. Maru said he never said that. He scolded Suzy angrily, to which Suzy asked if he disliked her that much. If she had known, she would never have come to meet him. Maru then tried to take her to the car, but she refused, saying she was wrong to force her love on someone who disliked her so much. She apologized for everything and promised not to trouble him again. Then she got into a taxi to return home. She was crying and Maru was equally hurt by what she had said. Meanwhile, Yuna was very disturbed as her brother informed her that Suzy was alive and told her current whereabouts. When Maru came home, Yuna's brother was already there. He apologized to Maru and said that he told Yuna that Suzy was alive and where she was, and that everything he did was at his sister's request. Maru grew extremely angry with Yuna, knowing very well that Yuna could go to any extent to get what she wanted. She now wanted to become the company's director, even if it meant harming Suzy. This made him very anxious, so he asked her brother for the address where Suzy was staying and set out immediately. On the way, Maru ran into Suzy's secretary and told her that Yuna had found out Suzy was alive and knew her location. On the way, they saw a man asking people questions. He was Yuna's man, so they rushed to get to Suzy. Maru reached her first. Suzy asked who he was, said she didn't know him, and questioned why he was there. Maru came to take her with him, but Suzy refused, asking who he was to take her away. She reminded him that when she had come to him, he shouted at her and said she was mentally unstable, so why was he there now? She told him to get out of her sight, went inside, and locked herself in a room. Maru asked her to open the door, but she didn't. Just then, some men sent by Yuna arrived. They told Susie's secretary that they had information that Susie was staying there and they had come to take her. Susie's secretary tried to stop them from entering, saying they were mistaken and Susie wasn't there. Susie still wasn't opening the door. Maru then said he had met a girl for the first time on a plane. She was very sick and there was no doctor on board. He used to be a medical student, so he gave her emergency treatment. He also met her once when they were both riding bikes and had a minor accident. He saved her and got injured himself. She had come to the hospital to thank him, but had yelled at him instead. She was a selfish and arrogant girl who didn't even know how to say thank you.